Christmas vs. the Walters is a 2021 film directed by Peter A. D'Amato, written by D'Amato and Ante Novakovic, and I apologise if I've mispronounced those, and this stars Shawnee Smith as Diane Walters, and unfortunately, it's not a good film. There are a few positives, and I will talk about those first, but in general, if you're looking for a good film, this isn't it. It's about Diane and her relationship with various family members and activities in the process of getting ready for Christmas, and honestly, there's not a lot of Christmas in this. There's a little bit, but if you're looking for a festive film, or a film to get you in the Christmas spirit, this most certainly isn't going to be that film. And Diane, to mention a positive, Diane is a likeable protagonist. I thought she was definitely really likeable, so I was happy enough to follow her journey. Unfortunately, her journey was tremendously boring. Nothing interesting happens in this. Well, no, something happens with a dog. I won't say any more than that, but I liked the dog. That part of it was certainly enjoyable. But the rest of it was very boring. The rest of the characters were really dull. I wouldn't say they were unlikable necessarily. I just didn't care for any of them. Diane, as I said, was pretty likable, but the narrative is very boring, and the structure of the narrative is not great, and the characters themselves are largely very dull, and then we have an absence of Christmas, so it doesn't really have a lot to offer. The other positive I do want to mention, though, is that it's actually beautifully shot. The camera work is gorgeous, the lighting is brilliant, all of that works really well. So that's visually quite attractive, but not as Christmassy. In fact, nowhere near as Christmassy as it should be. So there are some positives, but unfortunately not enough for me to say that this is a good film. Christmas vs. the Walters is an okay idea. I'll be honest, I think it is quite difficult to get a film right when you're dealing with a family at Christmas time. There are many, many Christmas films that look at family relationships and their drama and their problems around the festive period, and usually they're either really well done or they're really terrible. And unfortunately, this one leans a lot more into the latter category. I do think it's hard to do it right because there are a lot of different things being juggled, and as we can see here, well, in my opinion, they didn't juggle them very well. So not a great film. I don't recommend it. The positives would be definitely the character of Diane and the dog, and the camera work and the lighting. Also, the music was really irritating, not throughout the film, but there were times when the music was way more dominating than it should have been. So, unfortunately, Christmas vs. the Walters is not a great film. There are a couple of positives, but in general, it just didn't quite hit the mark.